There is a number that Tesla does not put in its press releases, does not mention on earnings calls, and has never fully explained to the public. It's the number of pounds of rock that have to be dug out of the earth just to build a single battery pack. And when you multiply that number by a fleet of Robotaxis meant to replace millions of human drivers across America, you get something close to a national resource crisis hiding in plain sight. Most people watching a Tesla Robotaxi glide through downtown traffic assume the story is about software. Cameras, sensors, neural networks predicting the next move of a pedestrian half a second before it happens. That's the story Tesla wants you to see. But underneath that story is another one, buried literally underground, in a stretch of Nevada desert most Americans have never heard of. And what's happening there might determine whether the entire Robotaxi dream survives or collapses under its own weight. Picture this. A flat, dusty stretch of land outside Reno, ringed by mountains, where temperatures swing from freezing to scorching within a single day. In 2014, this was empty desert. Today, it holds one of the largest buildings on the planet by footprint, large enough that early visitors joked you could lose a person inside it for hours.
After crushing, it's processed
this is Giga, Nevada. And what Tesla built inside it wasn't just a battery factory. It was a bet that the entire future of transportation would be decided not by who builds the smartest car, but by who controls the material that makes the car move at all. Here's the part almost nobody talks about. Lithium-ion batteries don't run on some exotic, impossible-to-find substance. Lithium itself is abundant. The real bottleneck, the one that quietly terrified automakers for the better part of a decade, was refining. Turning raw lithium ore into battery-grade material pure enough to survive thousands of punishing charge cycles is an industrial process so specialized that for years, a small handful of companies, most of them based in or connected to China, controlled almost the entire global supply. Whoever controlled that refining choke point effectively controlled how fast the rest of the world could go electric. So Tesla made a move that, at the time, sounded almost reckless. Instead of relying on that global refining network the way every other car company did, Tesla decided to build its own processing operation right next to its own battery plant, designed to take lithium clay from nearby Nevada deposits and refine it on-site using a method developed internally. Industry analysts who covered the announcement openly questioned whether it would even work at commercial scale. Clay-based lithium extraction was considered messier and less proven than the brine pools of South America or the hard rock mines of Australia that the rest of the industry depended on. Tesla was betting on the harder path, on purpose. But that's not the craziest part. Because while competitors were still buying refined lithium on the open market, exposed to every price swing, every shipping delay, every geopolitical headline, Tesla was quietly trying to collapse an entire global supply chain into a single location. Mine the ore. Refine it on-site. Feed it directly into battery production a few hundred yards away. No ocean freighters. No foreign refineries. No multiple middlemen each taking their cut and adding their own delay. If it worked, Tesla wouldn't just be making batteries cheaper. It would be making itself almost untouchable to the chaos that had crippled smaller players in this industry for years. And then the chaos actually came. Imagine spending years and billions of dollars building a refinery around the assumption that lithium prices would behave in some predictable range, only to watch the global price of lithium spike to historic highs, then crash by more than 80% in barely 2 years as new mining projects flooded the market all at once. Entire mining operations elsewhere in the world were forced to halt production overnight because the math no longer worked. Companies that had bet everything on the high end of that price curve were suddenly looking at bankruptcy. This is the part of the lithium story that never makes it into the flashy car commercials. It's not a stable, predictable commodity. It is one of the most violent, unpredictable markets in modern industrial history. So, how did Tesla avoid getting crushed in that collapse? This is where the real strategy reveals itself. Vertical integration doesn't just help you save money when prices are high. It protects you when prices fall apart completely. When you control your own refining process, you're no longer purely a buyer at the mercy of a global spot price set by traders thousands of miles away. You absorb shocks that would otherwise sink a company with no direct stake in the mining and refining side of the business. While competitors scrambled to renegotiate supply contracts written for a different price reality, Tesla had already insulated a meaningful portion of its own production from that volatility. But here's where the story stops being about cars entirely, and starts being about something much bigger. Robotaxis changed the math on lithium completely. Consider this. A privately owned car sits parked for roughly 95% of its life, according to transportation researchers who have studied urban vehicle usage for years. It drives to work, sits for 8 hours, drives home, sits overnight. A robotaxi does almost the opposite. It needs to be in near constant motion, picking up rider after rider, day and night, with minimal downtime built in. That means dramatically more charge cycles, dramatically faster battery wear, and dramatically higher demand for replacement cells, repeated across a fleet that could eventually number in the millions. Now consider what that actually means for the global lithium supply. A single robotaxi isn't just one more car on the road. In terms of battery demand over its operational lifetime, it behaves more like several traditional cars combined, because it's draining and recharging its battery at a pace no ordinary commuter vehicle ever would. Multiply that by an entire fleet, in city after city, and you get a scale of lithium demand that dwarfs what the personal EV market alone ever required. And that's when the billion-dollar gamble becomes clear. This was never just about building better cars. This was about preparing, years in advance, for a future where the